The first conversation, Sierra Leone Police last week officially launched its Strategic Development Plan SDP for 2025 to 2029, setting forth a comprehensive roadmap to guide its operations over the next 4 years. Now, the plan underscores the SLP's commitment to shifting from a traditional law enforcement model to a more community-focused service dedicated to ensuring peace, security and progress for Sierra Leone. So this morning, to talk about the Sierra Leone Police Strategic Development Plan and the ban on all commercial motorcycles in and around the Central Business District, among other security issues. In the studio, we have Mohammed Bobsin Senu, Deputy Head of Media, Sierra Leone Police, and Alfonso Bani, Executive Secretary for Human Rights Defenders Network, Sierra Leone. Gentlemen, good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Phoebe.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get to understand what necessitated the ban on commercial motorbikes within the CBD.
Yeah, this is not a new thing. It has started for more than 10 to 15 years now.
But it's been very inconsistent.
But yeah, the sustainability was also another issue. You know, with the help of UNDP, they look at certain things that really has to do with insecurity, of which they organize a national dialogue. This was a dialogue between the bike riders, executives, the police, and the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authorities. They look at some of the things. One, there was not, a kind of a strong bond, you know, among this body. So, they decided to look at this thing to say what has been the tussle among you guys. So the bike rider explained their own view, the law enforcers equally so explained their own view. So on that note, they were able to come up with 18 resolutions. It was consensus. One was like for bike riders, executives to come up with a unique dress code to be able to identify their riders in case of any accident, because there is a lot of complaints concerning bike riding. Some are using these things in the pretext, you know, to create carry out their criminal-related activities, snatch bags and property from somebody else. So they decided to come up with a unique dress code that we identify bike riders, your bike, you are theirs. So that is also another aspect. We also look at the other aspect, the enforcement of the CBD. We agreed on the 38 major street in Freetown here, but with concessions, agreement, and other things, we decided to expand Kennedy Street and the Phoebe Road, because they said Phoebe Road and Kennedy Streets, these are not major areas.
Would look at the areas, considered as the CBD or affected by this ban. We first need to understand clearly the reasons behind putting a ban on them. You spoke about security reasons. People's items were snatched by people on motorbikes. But that does not only happen in the CBD. There are other areas that happens. How come the ban did not extend to say motorbikes are banned, commercial bikes are banned from those areas?
Yes.
And some of those instances were not only just people on commercial motorbikes.
Yes. We also underscore the role played by commercial motorbike riders. This is self-employment, self-employment created by bike riders or among the youths. But one, we also look at reckless behavior. Some are also in the habit of riding without paying due, due cares to other road users, and then hit and run. With some behavior which is also very, very unpleasant. Yes, this one is also common among the CBD area, but there are also other areas wherein, that did not fall within these categories, but some of these things happen there. We also take cognizance of the fact that we have the responsibilities to also provide security for other people who are not only, using the CBD, but are also using other road. But we are more key in the sense most of these things happens along these busy streets because of the traffic congestions and other things. So we decided to focus on this side. We will also come up again and re-strategize with the help of the bike riders themselves to be able to identify some of these key areas that are also prone to some of these menace.
But again, what sort of an hold is politics having in all of this, in these anomalies, or better put, inconsistencies in terms of the ban on motor riders within the CBD?
Well, during that national dialogue, what was really discussed clearly has to do with a mutual relationship among these three parties. You know, that is the road corps, the police, and the bike riders. The bike riders, I mean, they were saying that the police and the road corps did not recognize their executives as such. When they are dealing with commercial motorbike riders, even those that get to the police stations or the road corps, they fail to recognize them. And this has been some of the issues. To say, I mean, during politics, people allow them to go, but the police is an entity to ensure that we deliver on our mandate. And our key mandate here is to maintain internal security and fall within our purview. So nobody has the right to, you know, I mean, direct what to do and what not to do. But the problems has been like what others are saying, the sustainability. The sustainability has been like the human face given to some of those bike riders. And it has been very chaotic, the way and manner sometimes in which even our law officers, you know, execute their duties. So we look at all those things during the national dialogue, of which they agree, they sign a communique, how we enforce, what we need to do, what is expected of us, the role and responsibility of the law officers, as well as the role and responsibilities of the bike riders unions as well. So it is consensual this time around. Rest assured, my brother, we are going to maintain sustainability.
We'll soon talk on the strategic plan. But again, most times we've noticed that many of the bikes from these riders have been seized by the silent police. What does the police do with them, the bikes that have been seized? Because most times you see you go to now the various stations across the country, you see hundreds of bikes that are parked there.
Yeah, well, in accident cases or in normal arrests, when they arrest bike riders, some fail to show up to the police.
Because of the charges that have been levied, or what?
And if you fail, maybe the reason best knows to them. If you fail to show up, your bike will be kept there. If you show up to the police, they will investigate you, charge you to court. When you get to court, you pay the fine. You come again, they will hand over your bikes to you. But also, we look at certain categories. For instance, if your bike is not licensed and insured, having gone through the court procedure, you must ensure that you license your bike before handing over to you. So these are some of the things. And the other thing here is, if, for instance, I am a bike owner, I've handed the bike to somebody else to ride on my behalf, and the man, was arrested by the police. It is incumbent on me to go there and claim the bike with evidential facts, with all the necessary documents. So if the documents are not available at that time, it is also difficult for police to hand over the bikes to you. Because you are saying, the law says he who alleged must be proved. If I'm saying I own this property, it is incumbent on me to justify the ownership with valid documents. So these are some of the categories.
Let's understand the ban. Is it for only commercial motorbike riders or motorbikes generally?
Commercial motorbike riders.
So private bike owners can ride?
Can ride as what? As commercial bike riders?
No, again, please listen to the question carefully. Is the ban only for commercial motorbike riders that
only
cannot
for commercial
apply
motorbike
CBD?
riders?
So if it's a private owned bike, there are people in Sierra Leone who own bikes, and you know that.
Indeed.
So those with private bikes, are they allowed to apply the CBD?
They are allowed to apply the CBD with the proper documentations to identify you that, for instance, I'm staff of SLBC or AYV. You understand? So if you are riding your bike, it is incumbent on you to also use the protective crash helmet. Well, that is it.
The question was not just for SLBC or...
No, for any other workers.
Right. So this leads me to why then do you have police officers with rods, canes, and instruments in their hands to assault?
To assault
people on bikes, whether it's the bike rider or the passengers. These are things we've seen, not even once, twice, or thrice.
Okay.
Some of them have these rods. Some of them it's the rubber pipe. Some it's whips. They hold on to these things, and once they see bikes coming, they jump on them to attack them. They start hitting either the bike rider or the passenger. So if private bikes are allowed to ply, how then do you begin to hit people without, first of all, knowing the identity if that person is justified and allowed to ply the route?
This is happening within this restriction period. If this is happening within this restriction period from the first on to today's date, is it happening within this period?
So you're saying even when it happened before, it doesn't count as anything?
No, that is why I'm saying now. You talk about sustainability. Maybe this has been some of the attitudes of police officers.
Is that part of the police enforcement?
It's not. It's not. Having something like cane or other things is not part of our dress code. Truncheon, baton is part of our dress code based on the circumstances. That is what I'm saying. So maybe this has been some of the things that we are tabled by the bike riders.
When you say
during the
maybe,
dialogue.
are you saying you or the Sierra Leone police is not aware that some of the police officers on the streets have been using weapons against citizens? I know in your context as men in uniform, weapons may not mean the same as when us civilians would say weapons, but when I say weapon in this context, it's the rods, the canes, and whatever it is they hold to hit
no, it's wrong.
the passengers and the bike riders. Are you saying you're not aware, the Sierra Leone police is not aware that this has been happening?
No. As long as people are saying about it, I have no right to deny it. It must have happened. You understand? But it is wrong. These are issues we also investigate police officers for. It's not part of our dress code. And you have no right as police officers to assault anybody. That is not your mandate. Your mandate is to enforce the law. And enforcing the law is clear. You understand? It's clear. I really want to believe this would have been part of some of the complaints tabled by the bike rider executive during the national dialogue. And now look at these things, we go to the drawing board, we look at, these are management information to also investigate and prosecute police officers who go against some of those ethics.
How will the police respond to allegations of them using bikes from riders that were seized over time?
Well, we investigate you. If, for instance, you arrest a motorbike.
Again, I ask, how will you respond to allegations? There has been allegations from the public, many bike riders who say most of the bikes that have been seized by the police are now used by the police themselves.
No, it's wrong. It's wrong. If you have anybody that your bike was seized by a police officer is now used by another police officer, you report to CDID. We investigate you, prosecute you in accordance with the law. It's wrong. Only the court that has the right to say this matter or this property has been, confiscated and must be used by this X, Y, and Z. No, but nobody has that right to do so.
Alphonsus, once again, welcome to the program. You've listened very carefully. Before we talk on the strategic plan, what will you say with regards the current ban on riders across the CBD? Is the measure one that is welcoming?
Well, let's look at it from maybe from 2 or 3 different perspectives. Although the officer here suggested the ban was specifically based on security situation, and I think we have to go beyond the aspect of security. It's not only because bike riders or their pillows that they are carrying, the passengers they walk along with, do interfere with passerbys, their properties or whatsoever. But you also have to look at it from the human rights point of view. You also have to look at it from the economic point of view. So we have to look at the security, the human rights, and the economic perspective. So if we take the security perspective, which he had already explained, one could say probably that could not be the reason why to ban, because if you're only banning within selected streets, exposing other streets and other areas, which means those communities and those areas don't need security protection. So that, I think, it could be unrealistic. If we are looking at it from the human rights perspective, we will also take cognizance of what he mentioned, and to which some of us also subscribe, the lawlessness and indiscipline of some of these bike riders. And we know for sure that a number of accidents, road accidents, the killing of people, has occurred because of reckless driving of these bike riders, which we can also understand from the human rights perspective, that if the central business district is so crowded that if you have a number of bikes coming in, it will create harm on the citizens, then that one could be justifiable. And it's not only the central business district in Freetown, even in all other districts where you have a number of people. When I go to Makeni, for bike riders to even give you access to cross, you have to spend time. They don't even have the courtesy to realize that people want to cross or let them stop. They don't stop. So if we are looking at it from that point of view, we will say there is some justifiable reasons. Now, on the economic side, when we take again on the economic side, these people are self-employed. If the government do not create employment facilities for them, but what they have to do is to create an enabling environment for them to strive. And so if they have created self-employment for themselves through self-employed strategy by using that motorbike, the government needs now to counterbalance that self-employment to create an enabling environment for them to operate so that they will not create an economic burden to the state.
But on the flip side, Alfonso, there have been efforts to help regulate their activities and enforce safety. Take, for instance, the use of helmets. Over time, they've been encouraged to use helmets. There are times when the police would even do checks just to force them to use helmets. Neither the riders use helmets, most of them, nor do they provide helmets for their passengers. And we see the road users, we see whether you're in a vehicle, on a bike or not, that you even use the road, you see how so many of them drive recklessly because of the employment it creates. Should we now turn a blind eye to also the reckless riding of some of the members and the accidents they cause, putting people in harm's way, whether they're passengers or just people who use the road?
No, that's not the essence. I was just trying to lay the premises as to the different angle we have to look at this issue of the ban. And you now try to justify the reason why you need this ban. But you cannot also make the ban without creating the opportunity for these people to understand the rationale and what they should do. To everything, there is a give and take. If you are banning the bikes to ride on the central business district, they also have to ensure that wherever they ride, they should also make use of the safety measures. Because the thing is, if you ban them from the business district center, you are suggesting that they can do whatever thing they want to do in other areas that is not part of the ban. That's my own take. So even if you are banning them because of A, B, C, D, there should also be measures for those areas that are not included in the ban so that they can also take the safety and precautionary measure to protect citizens and passerbys as they ride along the routes. That is our concern. To be candid enough, many times the bike riders there are different sectors within the bike riders. You have those that are typically working for themselves or working for people. You also have those that are also working for some police or security officers. This bike is owned by a security personnel, whether a police or military, but it's given to somebody to ride on a daily basis, like at least then that person will pay. So when they are enforcing this law, some of these guys, most of the time, they are the ones that go straight into the business district center because they have the protection of security personnel. So they don't bother them. It's those that don't have the connection, many times have been arrested or chased. And we are discussing the issue of using chontons or skeins or what. There was some time that police officers were using spikes that have nails And it's not part of the operation. I'm surprised that he's suggesting that it was not part of the operation. But it was done broad daylight, sending spikes in front of motorbikes, and you have a passenger behind. That was dangerous. But yes, they were justifying that these people are stubborn, they are troublesome, so we need to chase them. But that you cannot use, two wrongs cannot make one right. So while the police officers were also violating the rights of even the bike riders and those passengers, the bike riders were also committing a crime. So the two wrongs will not make one right. So I think why they have, we are happy that they have this national dialogue, but they should also go beyond just the bike riders, also engaging communities. I think it will also help. And it is not only bike riders executive. And if the police can also go beyond not only policing the streets or policing the bike rider, but also engaging the bike rider, because most of these bike riders, because they are self-employed, they do not go through, how do you call it, training programs for riding motorbikes. So they don't even know traffic rules, they don't even know traffic signs. So police also have to take the bull by its horn to be engaging these guys in their various localities to discuss road traffic signs. But that is missing.
Is that the responsibility of the Sierra Leone police?
If that's the responsibility of the Sierra Leone police?
To teach the bike riders on road usage, is that the responsibility of the Sierra Leone police?
It's a responsibility of the Sierra Leone police, because Sierra Leone police is not only to go after those that commit crimes, they also have to prevent crime. If by preventing crime is to conduct community awareness education,
if that's the role of
that
the
is also
police,
responsibility.
then what's the role of the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, SLRSA?
I'm just talking about Sierra Leone police. We have the Sierra Leone police that are traffic officers. So they can work together, the Sierra Leone police, those that are in the traffic division, with the Sierra Leone Roads Authority together to engage the bike, because they are all controlling traffic. You have this traffic warden that are also there controlling traffic. You have the traffic police that are also controlling traffic. So it's a responsibility of these two sectors to be engaging these bike riders so that they understand the road traffic rules and regulations.
Let's go back to the police. At this juncture, help the public get a glimpse as to what's in the strategic plan for 2025 to 2029.
Yes, before coming to the strategic plan, let me just help people understand one of these things. You're talking about using spy. These were all some of the complaints that were tabled. And these
against the police?
Yeah, okay. The law enforcers. And these were also some of the things that really, impeded the effective implementation of these things. You understand? Loss of life because of the way and manner in which. But as we are talking about transiting from force to service, with dialogue is policing by consent. So we catalog all those things. Now we started, it was 2024. A lot of engagement, nationwide dialogue, nationwide sensitization, with the help of the bike riders themselves. So that is why you go out there, you see the level of compliance is very, very much encouraging. You understand? On Monday, 21 police officers were arrested. They were not commercial motorbike riders. These are people they were dressed in police uniforms, coming to work, using motorbike without protective crash helmet. They were arrested, and 3 military personnel. You understand? So they were forced to go and buy crash helmet. So we are not doing any selective justice.
Where were the arrests made?
Along the country trees and even within Shaka Stevens Street. Also, Upgun, they were arrested there. You understand? The director of operations was there, director of traffic, and we have even come up with a kind of operational order on this one.
Now, before we talk on the strategic plan again, help the public understand the points that you consider CBD.
Yes, before this time, it was hectic for bike riders. Now, during the dialogue, we were able to come up with 35. We look at Kennedy Street, Kisi Road, Fobe Road, Sandin Abacha Street, East End Police Clock Tower, Godrich Street, Lumley Stroke Free Street, Upper East Street, Circular Road, Regent Road, Pademba Road, Country 3, Pacifica Street, Charles Street, Wilberforce Street, Gloucester Street, Howe Street, Randolph Street, Wally Johnson Street, Lamina Sanko Street, Shepherd Stevie Street, Ponin Street, Battle Street, Dundas Street, Adelaide Street, Kruto Road, Sanders Street, Campbell Street, Savage Street, Waterloo Street, Brook Street, Wellington Street, Nabina Street, Charles Street, and Jones Street. These are the 35. But the executive met again to say, let's consider Phoebe Road. Phoebe Road is almost you cannot compare Phoebe Road to Shakasivin Street, based on the activities of others. So we decided, okay, and then you also talk about Kennedy Street.
You decided, okay, what, to add it?
To ask, no, to expand.
To expand, yes.
You understand? Now, they also came up again with another area. You look at Macaulay Street onto IPAM.
Yeah.
We have students there who are moving. So we agree on that to meander the way coming onto former British Council. So it is consensus. That is why they are happy. And also the other provisions made for them, we are also providing accurate security for them. We are doing in consonant with their bike rider, BMO, the bike rider monitoring officer. So they have that one there to ensure that they follow the due process. And one part of the regulation also is training, with the help of the road cops and the police to provide necessary training for bike riders.
But you just spoke about the IPAM area. So bikes are allowed to get to IPAM?
Yes, it's a particular route.
Which route?
You move from Macaulay Street Junction. There is a route there to come onto IPAM. But
that takes you through Circular Road, isn't it?
Yes.
But Circular Road is part of the CBD.
It's part of the CBD, but there's also a specified junction where we have police officer there. So you not go beyond that area. Specifically, this other route you have to use to ensure that you get there, because of we really don't want to disadvantage students.
Now the challenge most of the times is, you would have sat here to do public education on this, the public would have understood. It shouldn't surprise you that you would also go to these areas, as you've said now they can use Macaulay Street, and that portion of Circular Road that takes them through the Fire Force Drive to get to IPAM.
Indeed.
It shouldn't surprise you that you would meet a police officer that would stop a motorbike from that route to through Macaulay Street to get to IPAM and tell you Circular Road is part of the CBD.
Yes.
It seems what you communicate to the public and what some of your police officers on the streets understand are two different things.
That is why we have the regulating body, the CDIDs, to check the SSCs of some of these police officers. We have developed.
But how does communication trickle down?
We have a normal way of communicating. We have our parade where we meet before going out to execute our duty. Every morning, muster, we talk to them based on things that they're supposed to do.
So in such cases, it's not lack of knowledge on the police officers. It's willfully pretending not to understand what the decision is.
To some extent. Because
if you're
for instance,
information trickles down to all of them, that means they know.
They know.
So it's
and that's why we investigate
they pretend to not know.
That's why we investigate you. If you go against the ethics of the organization, we have the body responsible for that. You understand? I see no reason why police will be bothered if really we are willing to ensure that we comply.
Quick confirmation: the areas around Lodge, around St. John, Congo Cross, are bikes allowed to ply those areas?
Yeah.
So in instances where people who follow this conversation now, or wherever you do public education, get the information as to where they can use and where they cannot, and they encounter a police officer who pretends not to know these areas, what should these citizens or bike riders do?
The bike riders, they are more aware of these areas more than even some police officers. You challenge them, and that is why we now form what a clear channel of communication, how to channel their complaints. You go to any divisions, we have CDID. For instance, the executives, they always met with the IGP, the Director of Operations, and also the rank and file of police officers. So they channel this complaint. You don't have to. In fact, that was also another key issue. If they are moved off, you don't have to chase them where they are. But that doesn't mean you should not follow the due process. Before using any motorbike, you have to license your bike. You should be licensed, you should be insured in case of anything. That is just the key message that...
Some of your police officers, although you've not spoken to what citizens can do in that situation...
They can report. 900 is free. You call on that line, you report.
Thank you.
Activities.
To the police officers, some of them, when they make these arrests, you see that they do not even bother to identify themselves to the person they're apprehending the bike from. They just jump on the bikes and they drive off. So if you do not identify yourself as a police officer, your name, the branch you're going with the bike, how can the rider know where to follow up with you? It seems like it's also theft. If you're taking something, you're apprehending it without identifying yourself, so the rider would know how to follow up with you. It's almost like that.
Yes, yes, you're quite correct. Of course, that is the reason why before becoming a police officer, you have to go through training school. There, you learn the basic routine. Arresting you, I have to identify myself to you. I'm so from so. That is a normal routine. And these are also, this has been like the practice wherein some criminals use this as an advantage to also, you know, meander the way and get away with somebody else's motorbike. But with continuous engagement and, you know, sensitizations with traffic departments, we are now trying to like bring in sanity. You know, we are in, the IGP was here telling you, if we have complaint against police officers, we'll move you from traffic to CID, or move you from traffic to non-uniform branch. You understand? So these are some of the measures put in place to ensure that we weed out those we think they are also, bad police officers in the SRP.
Yeah. One new bad habit by traffic police officers, they will just stop vehicles just to say hello and have a chit chat. They don't understand on what clock that person is on, whether the person is running late for an appointment, whether you're busy. They stop you not to search, just to exchange greetings and dish compliments, and sometimes they go to the extent and ask you for lunch. How can citizens help police the police?
Has it done that to you? It's also wrong. If that has happened, it's wrong. Your role there as traffic police or any other police officer, or at interceptions, is to maintain free flow of traffic. If I intercept you, I have to tell you the reason. For instance, to check if your vehicle is licensed, insured, all of those stuff. But going beyond that, no, is unethical. It's professional misconduct. Yeah. You have to report that police officers. And that is why all police officers, you look at my name, I have my name tag, and even those with the other emblems to identify them on the street there, they have name tags. You ask them. You understand?
I notice Alphonsus is in total agreement with you. Is that the case, Alphonsus?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, some of those things, at times you just ignore them because they are, it has happened to me anyway. Victim, yeah? Yes, I'm a victim, but we just make fun and laugh. You know,
you were asked to
give me lunch. Yeah, they'll give me lunch. I said, well, don't worry. They don't make fun. It was not like it was not like what they stop you. Well, how are you? How are things? Well, you know, we are doing this job. Well, don't forget, at least you can let me have water. That was just a gentleman's. It was not like, if it was like done in a forceful way, then I think I could have suggested the contrary.
But do you find that okay?
No, I'm not saying it is okay, but it's like making fun and jokes, you extend that jokes, then it has happened to me anyway. That's why I was just laughing, you know. I witnessed that. But those are also isolated cases. That you cannot generalize.
Policing is very difficult. Yeah. Because we have more than 4, 7, 8, 14,000, you know, taking somebody just from different background, you know, it's for change that person is a gradual process anyway. It's not automatic. But we are doing our level best to ensure that
sometimes you just ignore.
You know.
So now are you ready to talk on the strategic plan?
I'm willing.
Good. So just help the public get a snippet of what's there.
Yeah, the strategic development plan, this is a document we prepare after every 4 years. The previous one was 2020 to 2024. It's a comprehensive framework, that outlined the SLP long-term development plan. We have the directorate that is responsible for the development of this document. This one, we bring in like key experts from within the police. We have AIG Sylvester Kuruman was part of the team. We also have Commissioner Ishmael Kita that also supported the dietary departments to develop this document. We also bring in civil society organizations to do perception survey, ask people the opinion. How do you want the SLPs to go from this period to this period in terms of operations, in terms of capability, so those contributions, comment, view, we are put together to develop this document. It was also done nationwide. We also, after the nationwide tour, we validated, bringing paramount chief representative, key stakeholders, civil society organization to look at their view, their comment, their contributions, how it was tailored. So in essence, we were able to summarize the entire document with 5 key goals. And each goal has its strategic outcome. We're talking about goal 1. Goal 1 is saying we enhance public safeties and crime reduction. That is goal 1. Enhance public safeties and crime reduction. Then what will be the strategic outcome? The strategic outcome is saying reduce overall reported crime and improved public safeties. So we have key interventions. That is what we need to do to ensure we achieve on this one, right? Goal 2 is saying enhance community policing. Goal 2, we are to enhance community policing from 2025 to 2029. The strategic outcome of this will increase public confidence and support. So we also have key interventions that are things that we need to do to achieve this one. We're talking about goal 3. Goal 3 is to improve professionalism, accountability, and transparency. That is goal 3. The outcome of this, we have the police that will be trusted by the people if we improve with professionalism. We're talking about goal 4. Goal 4 says we promote innovation and the use of the ICT. What will be the outcome? You will see the police as a technology-driven organization. That is goal 4. Goal 5 is saying we improve condition of service for our personnel. That is goal 5. What will be the outcome? Motivated staff with improved condition of service. So these are the 5 goals with key interventions. For instance, if I go through the interventions like enhancing public safety, what are the things we need to do to ensure that we achieve this one? We have to do additional recruitment. We have ways that create gaps in the police. One, retirement is also another way. We look at death, which is also inevitable, is also another way. We look at dismissal, stroke of strength. So we need to recruit police officers, to replace those police officers to ensure we carry out this one. We also have to embark on intelligence-led policing. And embarking on intelligence-led policing will also helps to at least minimize the use of manpower. Because the intelligence-led policing will tell you we need 5 manpowers to ensure that we carry out these things.
What's the current strength of the police intel unit?
The current strength of police?
Of police intelligence-led unit. What's the current strength of that unit in terms of their capacity? The
capacity of that one really is gradually improving. It's improving in the sense we are also using technology now to help us. You understand? We're talking about the installation of a CCTV camera. This is also another surveillance camera that we are using. In case of anything, we go there to look at the footage, and then it will also help us. Then, of course, the cyber is also working hand in glove to ensure that we team up with the intelligence units to carry out our operations. You agree with me, in the 2024 Eurotype period, it was very peaceful because of the strategies put in place to ensure you guys go to bed with both eyes closed. So this is just another key things we are doing. And these strategic plans also focus on helping the police to transit from force to service. And it's also in line with a key long-term, mid-term development plan of the government of Sierra Leone. Because if we are talking about the full security, we play a key role there. We provide security for strategic infrastructure areas, farmers. If there is any thefts with fertilizer or other things, where do you go to the police to investigate? We ensure that we carry out speedy investigation regarding these things.
You just spoke of cyber, which draws us to the press release, which we saw yesterday from the Sierra Leone Police, the blanket press release inviting the former flag bearer of the APC.
It was not press release.
Okay, that was what?
It was an invitation. It was an invitation.
Okay, okay. So let's say the invitation that was issued by the Sierra Leone Police inviting the former flag bearer of the APC to the Sierra Leone Police. Help the public understand because the release doesn't mention as to the reasons, reasons for his invite.
No, but it's clear. It's clear. It's stated there.
Yeah.
It's stated there.
So then, help the public understand what's the reason.
Well, I will dissect on this one or digress on it. When he honored the invitations, he was supposed to report yesterday, but he did not, according to his lawyer. So on Thursday, we are waiting. So from the interview and his response, I'll be able to at least tell the general public the outcome and what really, the issues that they were looking at.
Yeah, I think the invite is dealing with social media post suggesting, because it's stated in the invitation that at a particular point on an audio, he was suggesting that he's the president-elect, according to the police invitation. That's going through the video they have seen that he has done that, and in another video, like they are welcoming him as a president and decline. So they want him to go and clarify or certify what he was trying to maybe achieve or whatever. I don't know.
How does the police come in to start investigations on activities that go on the social media? Is it only when you get reports, or do you also sit and without an individual making a report, you take up these activities? These investigations.
Well, the IGP said about open source. As police officers, we get our source from different angle. You understand? And there are some we get complaints. There are some we don't get complaints. But it is incumbent on us to also investigate as long as effort within our purview as police officer.
And if it's a threat, not necessarily on the country, but on an individual, say I do a video and I'm threatening Samuel Ibo Mkoma, but Samuel does not make a report to the Sierra Leone Police, can you take up that investigation?
Well, we also sometimes look at the fact that threatening language or threatening remarks is also an offense. We also look into that one. You understand?
So if it's not about the state, if it's just an individual, like I cited,
yes,
but the individual does not, the person being threatened does not report to the Sierra Leone Police, do you still take up that investigation?
If police happens to see that one, yes, we investigate it.
Without the person reporting?
Yes.
I'm asking you because
maybe he or the person is not aware of that threat. But if for instance you are saying, or sometimes we look at also threat against the states, that one is also very, very paramount as compared to individual.
I ask that because quite recently there was a video of a politician on social media at some event, and the politician was making a statement that he didn't like what a certain journalist did, and he had said they should grab the journalist and beat the journalist up. But he was discouraged from doing that by his colleague. and he is a no-nonsense person, that's a threat to the journalist. Even though the journalist did not report, that's why I wanted to understand from the Sierra Leone police. Do you investigate even when the person being threatened does not report?
Well,
How come that politician has not been invited?
Which politician? It's a news to me. This one you are talking about is a news to me. If something I'm aware of, and then the police are aware of, and they will fail to do it, then you will ask.
I think that was an event in Kono.
That
was an event in Kono, I suppose, wherein a politician made.
Maybe that the matter was investigated in Kono, but you were not informed, or I was not informed about that one.
But again, just the other time, the IG did inform the public that they will update the public as to the whereabouts of the Sierra Leone ambassador to Guinea, whom, from according to a press release from government, said he has been recalled. When in actual fact he's still in Guinea. The police is here to update the public as to the current whereabouts of...
Maybe you are not following.
I'm following.
You are not.
So then update, so then update the public.
No, yesterday the IGP,
So what did the IGP say?
No. I don't have the authority to talk about issues that IGP has spoke about, discuss. You understand? He was there and he was invited as a guest. He discussed this one to say, we are investigating. The team was sent to Guinea. You were there. You sent somebody there. And the team was live.
So because the IGP says A, you have no right to, of course, deliberate on what the IGP has said. Is that the case? That's what I want to understand.
Well, that's natural. He cannot.
Yeah, for now.
He cannot explain.
IGP is the executive. You understand? He knows more than me. He attend meeting, high-profile meetings, and he was there yesterday. It's not a secret.
Alfonso's, the hand-picking, the selection of cases that the Sierra Leone police investigates and those they conveniently either did not see or not know about, what does that say about justice in itself in the country? This is now zoning in, especially with reference to what I asked him about, threats and activities on social media. For certain instances, they see them, they take it up. For certain instances, they conveniently do not know about it.
No, but he has answered that question precisely in a way, and he also confirmed it, suggesting that if it's against the state, they take it more seriously. So it tells you to what extent how they handle issues, and that's the area probably we'll be looking at when they have launched this strategic plan, transforming themselves from police force to police service, because many times the police is seen as a police seen as a regime police. For now, it is SLPP that is in power. So whatever the conduct of the police is within the SLPP ambit. So we refer to them as regime police. If they want to move from that aspect of regime police to community policing, we may now see their approach different. So you are not going to say you are paying premium on issues that threat to come that affect the state. What about the citizens that constitute the state? Security, you cannot balance security. You cannot weigh. Everybody has the right to security. For the state, we can understand like the presidency because he's the first gentleman. He needs maximum security. But protection, everybody deserves an equal protection within the state. And so we are yet to see how the police really transform themselves. Because it's not me removing this coat that will make my identity change. It is me that put on the coat needs to change. If I remove this black coat and I put on a red one, it does not change me. I've just changed my clothes. How do I conduct myself? So police need to look at how do they conduct themselves as an institution or as a professional institution or as an institution referred to as a democratic policing. that police and serve community. And that is why many times people have dissociated themselves or have lost trust and confidence on the police, even by giving them information. Sometimes there's certain things happen in a particular community. They will not call the police because they know that when they call, the next thing, police will bring them to come and explain to us. How did you know this or whatsoever? They don't know even how somebody presents an information to you. How do you get that person? How do you encourage that person to give you more? Other than even inviting that person to the police, even meeting that person where he or she lives, discussing with him, trying to confirm, trying to corroborate. But the next thing they will do, we want you to come to the police to come and explain. So it creates a barrier for people to even be afraid to even associate themselves by providing information. And policing work, intelligence work, relies on people providing information. You cannot control the intelligence system, you as an independent institution. Even the police themselves as an institution cannot manage the intelligence situation in the country. They have to work with ONS, they have to work with other sectors, the military, all other sectors that deals with intelligence communications. That tells you that you are trying to work on intelligence in a collective manner, but you cannot handle the security of the state. Many times we know that the security of the state rests on the police, but to help them function, they rely on other people. And some of these, even these guys, sometimes they even run after these bike riders. I will tell you, from our own perspective as human rights defender, some of us, when we want to get information, we get it from these same bike riders. We get information from these people they also threaten, these commercial sex workers. They are very good informants. They can give you reliable and cogent information that you can use. But these are the people they don't even encourage. They see them as enemies, and that's not correct. So I'm yet to see the implementation of this strategy and how would they move from regime policing to community policing. Other than that, it will be very difficult for us to see this strategic plan be implemented in a more precise way.
Since you've not seen the video on the threat on the journalist, our producers are working on it. We'll get to hopefully play that for you before you leave. So you'll get to see the video of the person making the threat.
And just to add a little bit, you talk about this video. Now there was this lady, is it Hawa Hunt? This TV, you call it. I think she was out sometime when she used on audio video insulting the president and the first lady. She was arrested when she came back since December the 22nd for insulting the president and the first lady, which is not a direct threat. But on cyber, they use the cyber crime act to bring her to book. And he was arrested. We are yet to see whether he has been even released or granted bail for insulting the president and the first lady, insulting, which we condemn in terms of for morality purpose. But we don't, to us from the human rights perspective, I don't think that situation warrants her detention, in fact, for a period from December 22nd to a number of days. If we are doing justice and if we want to transform the police in addressing situation, those are things precisely as even community police, you can just call that person, explain to that person what she has done, what are the implications. Let her understand that if you do this the next time, this will happen to you. But just to satisfy the president and the first lady, I think that was really unfortunate.
Do you want to speak to that?
You cannot really satisfy the president or the first lady.
Also have in mind that still on cyber, from videos on social media, there was a man who conveniently spoke about a 3-point-something million budget for war, that it's very easy to bring war to Sierra Leone. And compare the two cases for us and let's understand the difference in how both were handled. When you would say the genesis of the crime, it started from a social media video, maybe might be equivalent to the same source, or one is even worse, budgeting for a war that destabilizes the nation. Let's understand the dynamics between the two cases.
Yeah, before going there, let me just clarify on a few things with regards to his view or opinion. When he's saying people lost trust in the police, there are parameters you look at. One, if people lost trust in the police, mob justice will be the order of the day. People will not go to police and report matters. Police will not charge case to courts. Police will not secure convictions at court level. You understand? These are the parameters you also look at. If indeed people lost trust in the police, nobody will go to police stations. You will see mob justice on the increase. They are saying we'll pay more attention to state. No. Everybody has right to your own protection. And it is incumbent on the Sierra Leone police to provide that, or create that enabling environment for every one of you to ensure that we secure your own, protection. Regime, maybe it has different meaning, but policing, I was recruited. I'm now 20 years in the SFP. I was recruited far back 2005. I'm still in the police officer. So I don't believe what he's saying, the regime. I don't even know. I was recruited 2005. Today I'm police officer, right? Now coming back to something Kaikai, Chief Kaikai. We issued out a press release. He was arrested, detained at CID. He made public apology. He knew of this. He was arrested. We saw that one. That is why I told you about open source. If now we're police, just like he said, we are also human. We get information from other angles, from people. And that is why we are working with the community. We also have a department responsible to interface with the community people. So we get this information through social media, and the man was invited. We even issue out a press release in respect of this one. He was detained at CID.
I think my concern
he was detained at
that
CID.
The statement of Chief Kaikai and the insulting words of our Hunt, you tend to address them within the security system. Which one is more grievous? I think it's Chief Kaikai. If you look at Chief Kaikai's statement, was so grievous than our Hunt. But Chief Kaikai, according you stated it now, he was asked to make a public apology. Our Hunt was not asked. She was not asked because he insulted the president, and they are not trying to appease the president and the first lady. And the Chief Kaikai was also appeased because he did not go through what our Hunt has gone through. He was appeased just to make a public apology. That's unfortunate, and it's unrealistic in this country.
Are those pointers?
It's unrealistic. Okay. Chief Kaikai was given an opportunity to enjoy. By the security to make, detained at CID. For how many days? For how long?
It's more than 3 days. It was
more than 3 days. Our Hunt, how many days?
We issued a press release in relation to this one.
Our Hunt, how many days was she detained?
I don't want to comment about our Hunt because already taken to courts. I don't have that, authority.
But how many days was she detained in court, in cell, in police cell?
Me personally, I don't have that authority.
Gentlemen, are those pointers to easily say that the police, the current police, does dances to the whims and caprices of the past that's been?
We don't.
But that's what I've said, but he's denying regime policing.
We don't.
Chief Kaikai is part of the SLPP system.
We don't.
And so we know for sure. That was why he said, if that person, if Chief Kaikai was from the opposition, we will never expect an apology from Chief Kaikai. He will be charged. But because he's a member of the ruling party, he was asked to make an apology. Our Hunt was never asked to make an apology, even though she insulted the president and the first lady. She was not given the opportunity to make an apology. She was detained for several days, weeks, and she has been charged to court for insulting. Somebody that threatened the security of the state was not charged to court, was asked to make a public apology. It's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And this is the security we are talking about in this country.
That is his opinion.
That is my opinion, but that's the candid opinion.
The gravity of his statements...
The gravity of the statement cannot be comparable.
The gravity of Kaikai's statements comes at a time when the country, you and I know, was in some security turmoil.
Yes, and that is the reason he was arrested. And nobody asked us the moment we saw that video. The CID invited him, and then we did a press release in relations to that one to also explain clearly to the public that he was arrested based on the utterance.
Okay, gentlemen, I think we've had some messages on our Facebook page. Let's see ways to go through some of those messages. and then we'll continue with the rest of the conversation. But nonetheless, Fabiana, have you any?
Please get started on that. I'll jump in and join you.
Okay.
Okay. So there are lots of messages here. First of all, Isako Umai saying police don't interact with civilians easily in North America, and it does not mean they hate them. Hussein Hassan says, Mr. Officer, how can we trust the police of implementing these laws without being corrupt?
Mohamed F.S. Kamara says, the invitation of Dr. Samuel Kamara is a distraction from the drug lord issue in the country. The president's daughter should be in police custody helping with investigation, but she was seen with the said drug lord.
Continue.
Dawda Tarali says, somebody threatens a whole nation and asks me to make an apology. Mosdi says, Mr. Officer, what's going on with Madam Femi Claudia's school, who was threatened by a high-level member of the government? Abubakar Rashid says, let's also take into consideration of Jobo of Bo threatening that he can not guarantee the security of the Minister of Youth. I think a lot of messages, lots and lots of messages on our Facebook page. But again, yes, we've also had in Bo this one that this person just reminded of us of when the Minister of Youth was told he can't be guaranteed of his security. If the police does pay attention to cases such as that of our haunts, why not also look at these ones that holds the propensity to, of course, bring about disarray in many instances?
You know, the police, I always used to say, we are few as compared to the people we are policing, right? You cannot compare the number of the citizens we are policing to that of the Israeli police. So we depend on the community people to also help us with information in relations to some of those things. Now, you are talking about the monitoring of social media. We have a department, of course, like, okay, to some extent here, the cyber and also the media teams. But you don't expect the police to always do on social media monitoring issue. But if you have any report of that, you forward. There are other things like this one people are talking about now, the invitation. Somebody forwarded it to me. And I was even asked to go and get information with regards to some of these things. This is just another things here. Somebody's talk about North America. It doesn't mean if you don't interact with people, you are not in good time with them. You understand? And if people are not happy about the police, or the way people don't trust the police, the evidence will be chaotic. One, mob justice will become the order of the day. People will not go to police. Police will not charge matters to court. Go to court every day. You see police taking matters to court every day, convicting, prosecuting, then secure conviction at court level. So these are also parameters we look at. We are not focusing at one person. As long as you are a citizen, you live within the confines of Sierra Leone, it is incumbent on the Sierra Leone police to provide security for everybody. You understand? There are other things like somebody was saying, an isolated issue. We investigate cases that we think fall within our purview to investigate. And we also investigate cases that we also think it's worth investigations. We don't look at your status, we don't look at who you are. As long as it is a criminal matter, we investigate it. I told you about open source. Some of these things, even like the chief guys, people are talking about here, nobody reported that one to us. We saw this one. You understand? We look at the video, it has some amount of threats. We issued a press release and the man was investigated. If, for instance, they are investigating me for offense, then I decided to say, I'm sorry, it was just out of, but offense is an offense. You understand? And we have prosecuted people, we have charged people to court based on some of those things. As long as there's evidence to justify whatever things, because we don't charge matters to court because of we want to charge. The essence of charging matters to court is to secure conviction. And if we charge matter, we do not have the threshold of evidence. It becomes embarrassing situations to the police. So these are just some of the things we want Mr. Gbanis to understand. You understand? He saying this, he also depends on police. Moving from here to one point. He has police officers. He trusts them. So you cannot say you don't trust police. No. I also want him to withdraw that statement, because he has police officers, he has relatives, he has friends, he has colleagues.
Would it have been prudent for the police force to use the same procedures that were used for Kaikai to that of our Hunt? Just ask her to apologize, just as she did for...
No. It was not the police who said the man should apologize or whatever. It's not the police. So we charge. Now let me tell you, under this our strategic development plan, under this go-to, I think so, improving on community relations, we have what we call informal resolutions. Informal resolutions is wherein the suspect party and the complainant party, the police will, negotiate a kind of compromise to say, no, I didn't want my matters to go to court because of X, Y, Z. And then the man will see reason to say, no, yeah, I will do this. You have that right. Or even the community or stakeholders from the community will come and say, okay, officers, let me go and handle this matter. As long as it is not that much felonious offenses we are talking about here, but misdemeanor.
Because that's a misdemeanor.
Common offenses. No, I'm not making reference to that one. I'm just telling you about some of the packages we have in our strategic development plan. For instance, we are investigating mobile theft. And most of those guys we normally capture, these are receivers. They are not the actual thieves. So it falls within those areas. We don't force things, but if you negotiate that one to say, we want these ones to happen, because it's policing by consent.
Another text I was saying, Dr. Samuel's invitation is a distraction tactics from the drug issue in country. That's the president's daughter was seen with yours, and so he must also have been in police nets to answer questions.
This one was also clearly explained yesterday. You understand? The identity of somebody else. And the open source, we start our investigations depending on what we have, on what we get from communities or from people you feel you have valued information relating to the investigation we are doing. To say it's just a kind of distraction. This will be explained after he honored the invitations. Based on his response and the questioning, we will not tell the general public the outcome of that invitation.
I think probably my brother tried to misunderstand my statement, and you decided to go now on the street to make a public perception survey on how the people talk about the police. Majority will tell you that they don't trust, they don't have confidence in the police. You tell me, and I will bet you that will be the outcome. And that's what I'm suggesting. I'm not telling you, I'm not saying the entire country does not have confidence. But majority of the people of Sierra Leone don't have confidence in the Sierra Leone police. So police have to build that confidence, have to transform that confidence. And it's very clear. To be candid enough, I hail from two ruling houses. From the north, the Munus family, and the south, the Gbanis family. Chieftaincy houses. Well, we have respect for leadership. And I will also condemn the use of abusive languages or whatsoever on either leader or chieftains or whatsoever. But if you look at the issue, the case of Hawa Hunt, because that's my take, you compare it to Chief Kaikai's statement against the state. You cannot compare those two things. So I don't see any reason why police should charge that matter, Hawa Hunt's case, to court. And if it's the president that took the matter to court, the president and the first lady to the police, reported the matter to the police, because the thing involved the president and the first lady. And he's suggesting that If they want to compromise or somebody wants to apologize, the complainants on the other side or the accused person on the other side, they come to terms, the person can make an apology. But this one, the person that this lady, the information suggests the alleged insult was on the president and the first lady. And the police have taken that matter very seriously to the extent that the lady has been charged to court. That's my take. To what extent can the police take the case of an insult more grievously to be charged as against a case that threatens the security of the state? That's my concern. And they need to explain to us on which basis, which is more serious than the other. Making a public apology for creating a situation to undermine the security of the state, or insulting the first family, which even the president himself could have called that gentle lady, talked to her as a daughter, using that humanitarian look. I have the powers to do A, B, C, and D, but I just want to advise you as a head, as a president for this country, for everybody, and as a father to you. Imagine if you are insulting your father. How would you feel? Or somebody is insulting your father. How would you feel? President talked to that gentle lady in that manner. It goes a long way. For that lady to even say, okay, Mr. President, I was sorry, I think it was a mistake or whatsoever. But for the police to champion this thing and charge the matter to court, to me it's really unfortunate.
Is it a means of telling the president they're working?
Of course. That's what I said. It's regime policing. This is a complete justification of regime policing.
On the flip side, on what you just said, that could have been the alternative to this long goods taken. Wouldn't that be sort of encouraging lawlessness, recklessness, and frivolous statements on social media?
Of course.
Insulting and discrediting people.
No. Of course, it is wrong. It is wrong. But my concern is, what is more grievous to be charged, and what is more grievous to offer an apology? That's my take. I'm not suggesting. I condemn somebody. It's not part of my DNA, and our institution don't even encourage that, for somebody to be insulting leaders or whatsoever. But the fact is, where do you weigh the balance? Where do you weigh the balance? What is the gravest thing our hunt have done, and the gravest thing Chief Kaikai have done that warranted an apology or warranted an issue that the matter has been preferred to court? That's my concern. I'm not suggesting that people should. There are a number of people, in fact, going out on social media, even senior people using abusive languages, which is not correct. It's not correct, and that's the way we are abusing social media. Social media should have been a very good platform to inform. If police are doing bad, I notice that, I send it on social media. It spread. So it makes police to have checks and balance, but not to go out there and insult or attack, do all sorts of things. The essence is to communicate, so that we have a spontaneous action or an urgent action to a particular situation or crisis. That's the essence. So nobody is suggesting, not even me suggesting, that people should go out there insulting heads of state or whatever. But my concern is, I'm just comparing the two cases. Which one should have been more better to be charged to court, and which one should have been better to offer an apology?
As we try to round off, Mosdi asked a question. He says, well, he said the relationship between police and the civilian is, we can't live with them, and we cannot live without them.
Of course.
Quite an interesting relationship. It is there.
Indeed.
But now that there are trust issues with certain citizens and the police, to the civilians who do not trust the police, what can you say to them?
That is why we have the community relations department. For instance, the transitions is more on community engagement. Our mandate remains the same, but the method of which we execute our duty is going to be changed. The approach is going to be more of people-centered policing. So that will also help the communities to understand that they are part of the document. This is the view of the people. They will also understand that they are part of policing. We create the enabling environment, sit together, identify issues affecting their safety and security within their community and come up with solutions to solve. So by creating that platform, we also help to win their mind with a few people who they think, you know, they have a few bitter experience with policing. We realize that, you know, policing you used to know in those days, not policing today. It's a gradual process.
Thank you very much, Alfonso Zwani and Obsin, for being a part of this program this morning to have this conversation. We were relying on our production team to put that video. Even though we've rounded up this conversation, once the video is ready, we would still get to play it in the program. And I am sure you can be able to follow wherever you are using even our Facebook.
To me, I will cross-check from Connor or the LUCs to tell me if what was really the status of that issue.
Thank you very much. Well, the video is available now. Let's just quickly take a look at this video.
So I tell you what Mr. say, that journalist say, I want to know the bit I can't talk about radical. Mr. say, left hand they will shape, and by the special grace of God, they will shape, pump and they will shape. This one of the fixer. On this township road, 2 weeks ago, I tell the team, Ghana Toko, one as usual Toko, are very, very proactive. I want to legacy. As chairman of SLPP, I will take development, bring account to people there. This road will call the SNRA team, where they measure the place. Woman in the car.
All right, that's the video, and many thanks to our production team that they were able to download that video and play it in the program. But yeah, that's the video. We don't have time, so we would not be able to get a response, but at least now you've seen the video.
And I will do a follow-up on it.
All right, thank you very much.
Pleasure.